Welcome back. We are covering tip number 2 of 25 tips to become a better driver. Consider the weather. So before we get going, as I ask always at the beginning, at the end of each one of my videos, do me a favor if you have not subscribed and you've been back multiple times, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button, click the thumbs up, lets me know you appreciate this video, and then also click the alert button and click all alerts. Also, there's different options that you can choose with the alert button, but all three of those things give YouTube and whatever platform you're watching this on feedback that you appreciate the content. And it may not be the same for whatever you're listening to this on, whatever podcast you're listening to this on, or whatever other social media place that I put this video and content up on. But whatever the positive feedback is on that, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would click on that. So today we're talking about consider the weather. And so right now, as at this recording, we're moving from, we just finished Memorial Day weekend this past weekend, so unofficially summer. But again, with that comes different types of weather. And if you live up in the Midwest like I do, you get all the seasons. And as you change from those, different things happen and there's different considerations, right? So summertime, a lot of times, at least in the Metro Detroit area, traffic will dive down a little bit, because people are taking vacation. And, sometimes you might get out of the habit, especially if we're in normal health certain situations that we've been facing this past year and a half or so. You might get out of the habit of driving in heavy traffic, right? So just consider that as you get back to the normal cycle. When school gets back in, you tend to see the traffic pick up, number one. So give yourself enough time, and then consider the weather ahead of time also, because when you're rushing, again, that's going to also put you in greater jeopardy. Another thing to consider, even though we're going from spring to summer, after the wintertime comes, there's a couple of things that you'll find on the roadways, right? You're going to find a buildup of oils that from cars, just the normal drive, if you go through a dry spell. And so what happens is the vehicle engine fluids that are typically slick with the various oils that are there will just start to accumulate on the road. And that first rain, what will happen is you'll find the roads are fairly slick, right? You coming up on stop signs or on different curves on the freeways, and that water and that oil will also kind of get washed to one side, the low side of the road as well. So it's just something you ought to consider. Take it a little bit slower if you can. If it's been dry for several days without raining, those roads are going to be potentially hazardous if you're not careful. The other thing too is that when you're moving from spring, you can still get those, and you're still hitting frost. You can still get icy spots on the roadways and overpasses. So just consider that, especially if there's been any humidity or any moisture in the air. It can accumulate, and it can be a rough drive there too. So, and I think we all know about obviously winter driving, right? Give yourself enough time. Consider the weather, and these days I think most companies are going to be a little bit more open after facing the health crisis worldwide that we've been facing, to you working remotely, right? I think it'd be better for you if you're running late to just say, hey, let me take my first meeting at home and then I'll hit it after the rush hour so that I'm not late, or whenever you can. Or if there's inclement weather coming in, just send the notice out or get permission ahead of time to work remotely and work from home. I think that everyone's going to be open to that. So again, I know that you all think about that, but I think once you're in there, if you're running a little bit late, you have not considered the weather, think about what your alternatives are before you decide to get on the road and rush it in inclement weather. So that's going to do it. Again, before we go, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, click the thumbs up, and click the alert button, or click whatever positive feedback option there is for you on whatever platform you're listening to this on. And feel free to share this video in the playlist, and we will talk to you at the next video.